We are built for this network, for the strong, not the weak. I know thy works, and tribulation, and poverty, but thou art rich. Welcome to the Black Excellence and Abundance Channel. Before we start this next video presentation, we'd like to send a special shout out to one of our very first subscribers. This brother has been with us from day one, and that's Perspicacity. He has a lot of great music on his channel, so please check out his channel. And again, we'd like to thank you very much, brother, because he's been with us from day one. Again, that's Perspicacity, and it's spelled Perspicacity. Thank you, brother. I love his channel. Please check him out. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. El Hajj Malik El Shabazz, Malcolm X. Frederick Douglass. George Washington Carver. Harriet Tubman. And Rosa Parks. These aforementioned people are some of the most iconic Black figures in history. They have revolutionized the world. But one thing that we like to point out on this channel is that there are so many other unsung Black heroes. People who have made great contributions to our struggle and to the progress of Black people. And on this channel, we are committed to bringing some of those little-known people who've made great contributions to our struggle. People who we should know, as well as we know the other icons mentioned. So we present to you one of those people, Mr. O.W. Gurley. Atowa W. Gurley, a.k.a. O.W., was a turn of the 20th century Black educator, entrepreneur, and landowner who was born to former enslaved Africans. In 1889, after resigning from a position held with the Grover Cleveland presidential administration, O.W. moved from his home state of Arkansas to Perry, Oklahoma, in order to participate in the Oklahoma land grab of 1889. We actually touched on Mr. O.W. Gurley in our video, How Wealthy Was Black Wall Street? We will be doing a series on the people who established Black Wall Street throughout the country. Our philosophy is, if they did it then, we can do it now. For they indeed laid the groundwork. So, we will be highlighting some of the players who established Black Wall Street throughout the nation, and in particular, the most popular ones in Oklahoma, and we will touch on the ones in North Carolina as well. Mr. Gurley, with his wife Emma, relocated to Tulsa to seize economic opportunities resulting from the city's multiracial population boom. Once there, O.W. purchased a 40-acre tract of undeveloped land where he built a grocery store on a dirt road that ran just north of the train tracks which traveled through the city. So you see, the 40 acres where Black Wall Street was established was purchased by this great entrepreneur, Mr. O.W. Gurley. Mr. Gurley later forged a partnership with fellow black businessman John the Baptist Stratford, also known as JB, with whom he shared a general distrust of white people. Both men chose to go by their initials instead of their first names. This action was a form of silent protest because men in the South were customarily addressed by their surnames, while boys were called by their first names. Sadly, black male adults were often addressed by their first names by white men as a form of emasculation. By using their initials, OW and JB circumvented this practice. OW and JB occasionally held different opinions. For example, while OW subscribed to the philosophies of African American educator Booker T. Washington, JB favored the more radical views of civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois, as mentioned in our previous Black Wall Street video. Despite their differences, and that bears repeating again, despite their differences, the two men worked together to develop an all-black district in Tulsa, Oklahoma, which developed into Black Wall Street. These two great entrepreneurs subdivided the land into housing zones, retail lots, alleys, and streets, all of which were exclusively available to other African Americans who were fleeing lynchings and other racial horrors. We cannot overemphasize the fact that these two gentlemen established a booming, thriving economy just a few short-lived years after slavery. Just consider, after slavery, many black people had absolutely nowhere to go. And it is as if they almost created something out of nothing. And we're going to keep repeating, if they could do it then, we can do it now. We just have to find a way to do it now. Where there is a will, there is a way. After OW built several square, two-story brick boarding houses near his grocery store, he called the street on which these structures sat Greenwood Avenue, after the Mississippi town from which many of his early residents hailed. Before long, the entire area became known as Greenwood, which soon became the site for a school as well as an African Methodist Episcopal church. But OW's crowning project was the Gurley Hotel, whose high quality rivaled that of the finest white hotels in the state. A picture of his prized possession, the Gurley Hotel. This historic African Methodist Episcopal church was founded by O.W. Gurley, as stated, still stands to this day and is known as the Vernon AME Church, founded by O.W. Gurley. As hundreds of African Americans migrated to Greenwood for the oil boom, O.W. and J.B. became increasingly wealthy, with O.W. boasting a reported net worth of $150,000, which is $3.6 million adjusted for inflation today. This great pioneer and entrepreneur leveraged his fortune to launch a Black Masonic Lodge and an employment agency while bankrolling efforts to resist Black voter suppression in the state. This man was certainly a visionary. It is also worth noting that O.W. Gurley was appointed as a sheriff's deputy by the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma. Taking note of his success, white developers began to emulate OW and JB by purchasing plots of land located north of the railroad tracks, then selling the plots back to members of the black community. By 1905, a black doctor and a black dentist had launched practices there. The creation of more schools, several hardware stores, and a Baptist church soon followed. As segregation grew stronger, Greenwood's black business district thrived, mainly because residents fed their purchasing dollars back into the local economy. As stated in our previous video, the dollar circulated in Black Wall Street's Greenwood district anywhere from 36 to 100 times before leaving the community, making it among the most powerful ever to exist. This determined entrepreneur has set the groundwork for us to follow. And always remember, folks, where there is a will, there is a way. They did it then, and we can do it now. When we put our minds to it, there is absolutely nothing that can stop us. Nothing can stop the power of a made-up mind. The Black Excellence and Abundance Channel, where Black history is every day. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. And as always, never forget, thou art rich.
Yo, this is Afro, aka All Flows Reach Out, and you're listening to Built for This Network. Yes, sir. From the building, stay bomb.
Good evening. It's your man H-Rap. As usual, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, and good night, depending upon the time you're listening to this. Thank you for tuning in. It's going to be a pleasure to deliver the information I have to you. As you know, I start each and every one of my shows by saluting my ancestors. It's just a practice that was taught to me, so I continue it. It made sense, so I continue it. What I like to do is acknowledge, first and foremost, this is a podcast. The reason I say it's a podcast every week is because there's no such thing as you miss my show. So, if you're coming in now, if you're coming in later, and you want to hear it in its entirety, you can always go to Spreaker.com. You can click the link and come back to Spreaker.com. You can go to YouTube, Built for This Network Radio, Built for This Radio Network. You can go to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Google Podcasts, Castbox, Deezer, Podcast Addict, wherever you get your podcast download. It is going to be fun. It's going to be interesting. And it is going to pretty much make my day to deliver this information to you this afternoon. Now, before I get started, as I stated, I'd like to acknowledge my ancestors. And what I mean by acknowledging my ancestors is I like to talk about the people or acknowledge the people or salute the people who put me in the position I'm in today, whether they have transitioned or they're still here currently with us. And what I want to do is acknowledge everybody in the Whitmore, Pollard, Turner, Battle, Cotton, Harper, Bailey, Crisp, Lansdowne, Liggett.